Morning, everybody. Sawadee Cup, live from Bangkok. I believe today we got some good information on the show here. Lots of things to talk about, but uh, before I get started, thank you very much for joining me. The Thai baht is now 32.50 to the dollar, which is fair. It's been up and down a little bit, but 32.50 is a little bit. The baht is a little bit weaker than it was the other day. Air quality is 60. Temperature is currently 84, high of 88, low of 75. The heat index is 91 degrees, and the humidity is 70%. So it's hot and muggy. Although it is getting cooler, and that's a good thing because I want to get out and about a little bit more. And it's not a lot of fun to be out when it's 100 degrees and it feels like 115. So at least it's a little bit cooler. There's a 40% chance of rain. It's been raining every single day. Winds are south-southwest, 6 miles an hour. The visibility is 6. UV index is 5. So that's where we're at. That's the environment. Hot and muggy. Hot and sticky. Before I keep going here, let me give thanks to the members of my YouTube channel, the paid members, the sponsors. Thank you very much. Richard Gallagher, Mr. Raymond, Suwon, Mark, John, Malcolm, Propellerhead, CJ Digital Life, Pataya Bob, Two Minds, Mr. Allen, Corey, Tim, Johnny, JB, Mindy, Mike, Charles, Lee, Charles, haven't heard from Charles Akana in a while, Tony, Henry from Scotland, LH, Mr. Jim, and also Mr. Steve. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Good morning, Propellerhead. Thank you to all those who have helped supported the channel and helped me to keep going, because believe it or not, every little bit does help. You can get, you can become a member for as little as $1.99. And thank you to all the Patreon patrons, members of my website, everybody else who helps out. I really appreciate it. What else here? Upcoming. We have some things upcoming, which, you know, I've gone back and forth. What do I want to do? I always do this. But I found a channel thanks to my son, Alex. And I really like the channel. I like the way the guy does things. He's a guy who does things kind of the way that I'd like to do them. Every once in a while I come across a channel and I go, that's what I want to be doing, not what I'm doing right now. I don't always want to be sitting at home or at Starbucks or walking around just going, look at this. So I have a few things planned. On Monday, I'll be going down to Sarni's, the gourmet coffee shop, and I'll be with Longhorns because they're now open, and so they serve food, and their food is pretty good. They got great coffee at this place. I'm drinking right now, and I'm not sponsored by them. I believe they're out of Singapore, but they have a few different locations. So I'm going to go over there, and we'll find something useful to talk about. And then I'm going to go to a coffee shop later next week that's over 100 years old. And this is not the coffee shop that I went to in Chinatown, which Longhorns and I may go to that coffee shop in the near future. But this is a different coffee shop. It's actually older. Also be going to a restaurant that is also over 100 years old. And these places have a lot of character. They're in great neighborhoods, you know, really traditional Thai neighborhoods. So that'll be interesting. Longhorns and I may also head over and get an acai bowl, a summer bowl. And then there's another place, the Cacao Bangkok. We may go over there. We're going to go to Chinatown. but also Talat Noi, which is a great place, and some of you may remember. Uh, there's uh, there's an old house there that has been transformed, and they've got diving equipment and stuff like that. They also have, I talked about it the other day. They have a little, I don't know if it's a pet shop or what it is, but they have pets there, and I'm just gonna call it a pet shop. But also they have a nice coffee place up on the second floor, and this place is the oldest house in Bangkok. It's something like, I think it's 240 years old, 250 years old, something like that. So we may go there, may go to Kokret. I don't know about that though. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and then once I see that things are going better here, and that there's not going to be any more shutdowns, and there's not going to be more harsh restrictions, I'll go to some other province. I'll go to an island somewhere. I'll go to Khao Sok or something like that. So there should be, some interesting things coming up. Anyway, uh, hopefully you can join me for that. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Uh, Now, getting to today's topic. I've been talking about these protests, and I have mixed emotions about them. Um, Simply because I don't know what they're going to accomplish. But then, I was reading the other day that there is a chance that the prime minister, Prayut, could be ousted. And I'm like, really? I don't think so. So this is coming from these sources are, what's the word I'm looking for? They're trusted, highly trusted sources. That there's at least a chance he could be ousted. However, now, after yesterday's debate, there is a vote of no confidence debate going on amongst the Thai parliament regarding the ministers, including Prayut, the prime minister. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's interesting to see how people are jockeying for position once the opportunity presents itself to take over. And what really bothers me is that the health minister, Anatin Chanwirakun, is lobbying to become the next prime minister. And to me, that's scary. And what I've been reading is, okay, if you don't like the current prime minister, you think he's a bad leader, okay, that's understood. That there's a reason for that. However, in all likelihood, the next leader is going to be even worse. I don't know how that can happen. I'm in shock from some of the stuff that I've read, but let me get into it a little bit here, because there's some really good articles out and some information that came from some people. This guy Andrew Marshall, who is very in the know about these sort of things, he wrote. This is, I guess, yesterday. Day before yesterday. It's looking like it could be the end of the road for Prayut Chan-o-cha. Anatin Chanwirakun is lobbying heavily to be the next prime minister, but the palace may want to install an external candidate. I don't really know enough about Thai politics to get really deep into it, and I'm reading and looking into it more, and the different parties and all that. I just haven't cared for so many years. I really haven't cared, but now I do care a little bit more, because the actions of the current government and the next government. The government, they really affect me and my family, and so I'm interested in knowing what's going on. I wasn't interested before because I didn't have as many responsibilities. I didn't really care as much about what they did as long as it didn't affect me and my wife and my kids. Or before then, I didn't care. As long as they weren't anti-foreigner, it really didn't matter to me. But now it matters much more. And it seems that this guy here, what is his name? This Prawit Wongsuwan, he had a little bit of a plot to get rid of the prime minister. And there was a chance it was going to work, and now it's exposed, and his coalition has fallen apart, basically, and it doesn't seem to be working. It's not going to work. And so today, the vote is supposed to come out that, if you don't know what a motion of no confidence in, it's basically exactly what it means. It's exactly what the words mean. They are voting basically to say we have lost all confidence in particular leaders in government, in positions of responsibility, and we are deeming them unfit to retain this position. Now, this is different from a motion of censure, which is basically just saying that you have the motion of no confidence. Apparently, it's not necessarily a given that the prime minister has to resign or that the ministers have to resign. But it says in most cases, if the minister in question is the premier, all other ministers must resign. So they can pressure the prime minister to resign, and thus his cabinet has to resign. But the censure is a bit different because this is basically just saying we condemn you. We condemn the government, but that does not mean that they have to resign. So they're basically saying we don't approve of the government, but that's the way it is. A vote of no confidence can lead to resignation of the whole cabinet, and then they have to install other people, which apparently, I'm not going to get into how it works and everything because I don't really know each particular step, and I wish I did. It's basically just saying we don't approve, but this is the thing. When the health minister said, "Hey, you're just all a bunch of dirty farang," it's the dirty farang who brought the virus to us. I'm sure that he was lectured or he was giving a talking to. That doesn't necessarily mean that he was punished. I don't think he was. Good morning, Richard. How you doing? So this is a very important vote. However, from the way that things look as of the moment, it looks like the prime minister is going to be able to hang in there, and he is going to retain his position. He's not going to be asked to resign. From the Bangkok Post, it says Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha is expected to secure the most votes of support among the cabinet ministers targeted for censure. They use the word censure and no vote confidence, vote or no confidence, interchangingly, and it's not really how things work, but I don't know why they're doing it here. As lawmakers cast their votes of confidence on Saturday, with sources claiming he has seen off threats to his authority from within the ruling party. General Prayut on Friday cleared the air with Deputy Prime Minister and Palang Pracharat Party leader Prawit Wongsuwan and received an apology from Deputy Agriculture and Cooperatives Minister Tammanat Prompao following reports alleging a move to unseat him in the no-confidence vote on Saturday, according to officials within the party. The debate was carried out against a backdrop of factions within the PPRP pushing for. I mean, I'm glad they use acronyms in this case, because if I had to say that Palang Pracharat Party every single time I saw it, anyway, PPRP. Against the backdrop of factions within the PPRP pushing for cabinet seats in exchange for their votes of support for the premier. Sources say that the move to topple Prayut was engineered last week by heavyweights in the ruling PPRP, including Captain Tamanat, the party's Secretary General, and a number of renegade government MPs. The plan to cast no confidence votes against General Prayut is alleged to have been prompted by General Prayut's dissatisfaction over the appointments of some high-ranking officials. So, at least in this case, it looks like he is going to hang in there, and he's going to make it. And it's not time for him to say goodbye. When they vote in 2023, I can't see how he's going to stay. I can't see how he's going to remain in power. I don't see that happening. And you have all these protests going on, and many of them are around the Asok area, which is crazy if you think about it, because that blocks off everything. I mean, you think about it, the intersection of Asok and Sukhumvit, it really leads to just about everywhere, and it causes a hell of a lot of problems. However, the rallies are returning to Ratchaprasong, which is a place where this is the place where there were protests back in 2010, and Central World, the big department store there, the massive department store, was burned down by protesters. It was set on fire, and there was so much damage. It didn't open up for I don't know how long, a year and a half, something like that. Let me see here, because I'd like to know. Okay, this is different. Let's see here. Protest. Yeah. So that was where I was with Longhorns a couple of weeks ago. Let's see here. Supposedly, supporters of the United Front for Democracy Against Dictatorship torched the Central World shopping complex during the 2010 opposite government crackdown on red shirt protests. Yeah, I don't know how long it was shut down. I don't see it right here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking for it, but I don't think Anatin has any chance due to no military ranking. Well, no, he doesn't. And to be completely honest, where in the world do you get appointed to be health minister of a country, and yet you have no background in health, in the health field? Where does that happen? I mean, even Fauci is a doctor. If you don't like Fauci, I understand, but he's a doctor. He has a medical background. Anatin has no medical background. So, maybe, is it really necessary that the health minister have a medical background? I think, yes, it is. It's necessary. They need to have it. But this guy Andrew Marshall has a lot of great stuff and a lot of good information, as does a few other websites. But apparently now it looks like there's not going to be any problem with Prayut retaining his position, and There's plenty of ballots. Let's see here. Not expected to have enough ballots. The public has heard both main opposition parties accuse the government of failing the public in their vaccine acquisition process, their economy performance, and possible corruption. Um, you know, the prime minister has been accused of giving 5 million baht to his ministers, and this is something that he's denied. Of course, he's saying no, no, it didn't happen. But there's all kinds of stuff going on, and this is what I mean. It's like there's so much corruption, and it's not only in Thailand. It's in America. It's in Australia. It's absolutely ridiculous. What is the thing going on in what's going on in Australia? They're coming up with some, what was it? The app or something? It's on my phone, so I don't have it. But let me see if I can open it up here. Well, I talked about how Anatin before he took the position and it was a cushy job because he didn't really have to do all that much. Once the pandemic hit, he had to do a lot. He's in a position where all eyes are upon him, and I don't know how on earth he thinks he can run the government. Yeah, I'm getting tired of seeing all the numbers thrust out every day. So many people died. So many people. There's so many cases, and I'm really tired of it because you know what? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You're either going to open up and people are going to live and have to learn to live with it and get sick, or you're going to stay closed and people are going to end up starving and be on the streets. And there are more people on the streets. I've seen more people on the streets than ever before. Every time I walk, and yesterday I did, I walked across the street from the mall. Hadn't done it in a while, but I walked across the street from the mall, and there must have been 5 people just laying there or sitting there, with their bowl out, and I never see that many. It's usually 1 or 2, Now let me see if I can find this what I was looking for. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. If I can't remember. I did see something that I thought was interesting. It says COVID is a true killer. So far, it's killed the flu, cancer, heart disease, killed the ability to think, logic, and common sense. It killed the economy, the working class, and millions of jobs. It's killed millions of businesses, human connection, love, and compassion. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. I'm trying to find this one particular article. Let's see here. No. Let's see. Longhorns is probably asleep or he's watching, not commenting, and he is laying in bed, which is what I guess people do when they're on holiday, especially when there's not a hell of a lot to do. Although there's a lot more to do now that things are opened up, and I'm starting to realize that, and that's why I woke up yesterday. I was like, man, there's some pretty decent stuff to go out and do now. He went and had a nice meal at Sarni's, which he's been dying to do. He just couldn't wait for me. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know where this is. I'll be sitting here all day looking for it. If I remember, I'll take a look at it. So it doesn't look like. I just don't know who is going to be next as the prime minister, because, as I said, it's like if you think Trump is bad, and I didn't think he was bad, okay? But if you think he's bad, and then you get Joe Biden, you gotta be like kicking yourself going, man, This guy he can barely talk. He's got his ass so far up his head, he doesn't know which is which. You know, I can only imagine. He's like, what is he, like 80 years old, 75 years old? And he's giving these speeches, you know, I'm wondering, I'm not even going to say it. I can't say it. It's really bad. Well, I might as well. You know, he's standing there giving his speech, and he's got the Pampers on, and he's farting into his Pampers. I mean, you know, really. And listen, I don't hate on him because he's old, because, you know, hey, everybody has parents. Everybody has, you know, family members, or you might be old like that. You're going to be old at some point. But the point is that if we, as foreigners, are under Prime Minister Anutin, I don't see how it's going to be any better. Good morning, Carlos. I don't see how it's going to be any better, really. I just don't get it. I never do. I don't get it. How are things going to... Don't they want Thailand to get better? Thailand's gone to the toilet in the last year and a half. And again, the other day I did a thing saying, don't underestimate Thailand. Don't underestimate them. Even with... you know, listen, a clock can be right twice a day. You know, a clock is always right twice. And so bad leaders can do good things once in a while. And it happens. So Thailand is not going to continue going down the toilet because there's too many people, there's too many good people who want it to do well. It's a great place. There's a lot to see, a lot to do. And it's a good place to live. It ain't paradise, sorry. There are always elements of paradise in many places. You can go many. To me, when I went to Riley, I was like, man, this is fantastic here. I love this place. When I was in Khao Lak, I was like, this is fantastic. And then, you know, now that I think about it, looking back, it was fantastic for 2 or 3 days. After that, I would be like, all right, so now what am I going to do? I'm bored. What am I going to do here? I'm going to walk on the beach every day? You know, and I'll be honest, the reason I went to Khao Lak was because of these chicks that I see on Instagram. And it's not because they're gorgeous women. Although, you know, some of them are very attractive. But they're surfing. And they look like they're having so much fun. And the beaches look so great. And I'm like, man, I got to go to Khao Lak. I got to check this place out. That's why I went. And you know what? It was a great place. But, you know, after a couple of days, I was like, you know, what else are you going to do here? You know, if you got a family or something, you got things to do, and you got, you know, responsibilities. Okay, well, we got to go to the grocery today, and then we're going to go, you know, pick up some garbage cans or, you know, whatever it might be. The current plan for reopening the rest of the country with multiple restrictions will mean that hope for the tourism industry is over. Now, here's the thing. You know, you're talking about that. I put up a graphic in the community tab, the community section of my channel, which, I got to put my glasses on here. It tells you, if you are vaccinated, what you need to be able to get into each place. And basically, it's, if you have Sinovac or Sinopharm, you're going to need both. You're going to need to be fully vaccinated, have both vaccinations. If you have AstraZeneca, Pfizer, or Moderna, or Johnson & Johnson, you can have one. Although, like in Udon Thani, you need to have both. You need to have both doses of the Pfizer. But this has got a pretty lengthy list of places to go. For instance, Pitsanulok, a quarantine in any case except travelers with the RT, PCR, or antigen rapid test, including medical certificate. Masot, which is right on the border of Myanmar, you need to quarantine no matter what, whether you're vaccinated or not. Chumpon, same thing. Trang If you're a visitor from the dark red zone, which Bangkok is a dark red zone, you must complete the vaccine program. So that means you need to be fully vaccinated. Nakhon Si Thammarat, 2 doses. The only well, yeah, you see, you need 2 doses of the Pfizer and Moderna. You need to be fully vaccinated. So there are places that you can go. I'm trying to find the area that I want to go to, and it's not on here. But see, Phuket and Krabi, 2 doses, 2 doses, 1 dose, 1 dose. Okay, so the only thing is you need to have 2 doses of Sinopharm or Sinovac, 1 dose of all the others. So if you've been vaccinated, you can go there. So that's pretty good. At least domestic tourism can rebound, and that helps a bit. Tourists will accept some extra paperwork expense before they go, but they don't want more hassle once they arrive. Well, again, if you're fully vaccinated, you shouldn't have any other hassles. You show your paperwork, and that's it. Getting in is a different story. Internationally is a different story. And I think that's why this is the first step. I don't think at this point that and I said this before, I don't think there's a chance in hell that the Prime Minister is going to be booted, because if anything, things are starting to get better. People may not like him, but that doesn't mean that you can get rid of somebody who's in power. And I just don't see that the protests are going to do that. What I do see is that they're going to crack down hard at the protests. They've already had, plenty of tear gas and rubber bullets and that sort of thing. I am 70 Scott. All right, well, we all get there eventually, as long as we're still alive. We get there, and we just have to deal with things. Jono, I think, is 67, and he doesn't seem like 67 to me. Maybe it's because he acts younger than. Okay, thank you very much, Michael. Leaving for Hawaii soon. It would be Thailand normally. Let me see something if I can check this out. What else he said here? Thank you very much, Choke D. It would be Thailand under normal circumstances. What a difference a year and a half makes. I gotta say, a while back, Chucky, who I spoke to yesterday, he is in Verona, Italy. And actually, I could try to call him right now, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a hold of him. What was I going to say? Oh, he wanted to go to Venezuela. And I was like, man, I'm not going to Venezuela unless I have a fixer. No way. I'm just not. It's like going to Syria and you go alone. You're like, okay, let's go hang out, man. Let's go check things out. No, I wasn't going to go to Venezuela because Venezuela at the time was, extremely, it was in a really bad position. And I wrote to this guy who is a fixer. And he's pretty prominent, but he's also a photographer. And I wrote to him, and oh, you're funny, Carlos. He has some Italian in him. Actually, he's not into he's into the Asia thing, He has some Asian in him, or vice versa, I don't know. Anyway, where the hell was I? Distracted. Really, sometimes I wonder about my mind. Venezuela. So this is about a year and a half or 2 years ago. 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago that I wrote this guy. He wrote me back the other day and he said, man, I'm really sorry. I didn't see your message. I just saw your message now. I'm really sorry. And I wrote him back and I said, well, what a difference 2 years makes, because I wouldn't go there now. I'm not going to go there now. That's the, it's, if I didn't have to worry about being hassled because of the virus, I would consider going there, but not now. You know, I wouldn't fly halfway around the world. I just don't want to do it right now. Not to mention the hassle to get back into Thailand, which we've gone over a million times. Um, and that's the other thing. They're going to have to make it easier for people. And I hate to say it, but you know, inside of Thailand, they are going to have a digital passport. You are going to have to get things checked. It's gonna happen. And if you don't have it, then you're going to have to show a test or something like that. And that's the only way. And that's what's going to happen eventually when you want to enter the country. You're going to have to scan something. It's going to show your records. And everybody's complaining about this and their privacy. And, oh, my God, they're going to access my medical records. No, they're going to access whether or not you have been vaccinated. That's it. It's just like a yellow fever thing where you show your yellow fever. You have your yellow fever card. It's stamped and all these other things. That's what's going to happen. Well, I sure don't want domestic tourism only. Although, I mean, you know, I am an American in Bangkok, but I like to travel elsewhere. And, you know, the other day I was saying, you know, I've kind of lost the desire to travel. I don't have the same desire that I used to, say even 3 to 5 years ago. I don't have it. Maybe that'll come back. You know, maybe I go to one place, or maybe I have a good trip coming up. Chucky wants to go to the stands. You know, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, those kind of places. He wants to go to at least one place. And he wants me to go. Now, do I really want to go? At the moment, no. In the future, maybe. Thank you, Richard. Choke D, you are, well, you're numero uno with the super chats. I appreciate that. Slowly but surely, my channel is gaining a subscriber or two here and there. It's a grind. I'm not one of these guys who, you know, people see my channel and they go, oh, wow, fantastic. This guy's fantastic. He's the best. And all of a sudden, the guy's got, you know, 1 million subscribers. That definitely isn't me. It's a grind, man, really. I get 1 or 2, and then I lose 1 or 2. Then I get 3, and I lose 1. And then I get 4, and I lose 3. You know, and that's, I accept that. It is what it is. But, as I said, there is a channel that I want to model myself after, and I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I have the skill to do it. That's the thing. Some people have skill. And, well, I didn't say you weren't nice. I never said you weren't nice, Richard. Well, thank you. Thank you. One of these days I'll get another one done. I just got too much stuff going on, and I need to focus. And it's difficult to focus when you got 50 different things to focus on. Which, you know, for me, I'm like, man, remember the days when I went to work at 7:30 or 8 and I got off at 5 or 6? How did I ever get anything done? You know, because now I don't have to go anywhere. If I didn't want to, I didn't have to stream this morning. I don't have to stream tomorrow. I don't have to stream Monday. I stream when I want to, although I do have a loose schedule. So it's, you know, this is the thing. I heard about this yesterday. Really? Oh, คุณจินาโร่ฉันสบายดีนะครับโอ้สบายดีมากนะโอ้ I'm so good. I wouldn't say I'm so good, but I'm getting better. I'm feeling a little better about, you know, first of all, when you have all this going on here, and, you know, it's going on everywhere around the world in its own way. Every country has slightly different things. I mean, it was about Australia. That's what I was going to talk about. Australia has something. That was what I was looking for. Let me see. Australia digital. Was it digital passport? Now, this was from yesterday. Yeah, I don't know where it is. There was something about I don't know. Somebody in Australia, maybe you can help me. There was something about where if somebody goes out, every time you go, oh, I know what it is. Their health department or whoever's in charge of the virus and the vaccines and everything, uh, they you have to have your phone number in their system, and they will call you randomly up to 5 times a day to see at all times where you are. And if you are not where you're supposed to be or you're out of your area, they will come and look for you and hunt you down. They will find you. Well, I mean, you say, I hate that phrase, sheep like. Well, I don't know that it's only in Sydney or only in one place. It's in South, what is it, South Australia? No, 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 no. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find. I really wanted to find this article. I don't know what I did with it. But they have a phone number where you can call in South Australia, where you can basically rat your neighbor out and report a breach of. Oh my God, it's just so crazy. Here in Sydney, it's a circus, though. We have been in full lockdown since June. I have positive cases in my building. I know a lot of people who have positive cases in their building. Uh, Pattaya Bob is one. Also, Jono. I believe my buddy Scott in his building. He's in a big building. And so, I mean, it's just crazy, man. To me, it's crazy. I don't want to go to Australia now. I have no inkling. I have no desire to go there. Um, Not in South Australia. Maybe if self quarantine. That's what I read, and I got to find that article. And it was from a legitimate news source, or as legitimate as they go. It was a mainstream article. Um, Let me see if I can find that on the Twitter. On the Twitter, the Twitter is a good place for quick news, and then it leads you to wherever. Search Twitter, Australia lockdown, phone calls. Hey, everybody wants to move elsewhere. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know here. I'm in lockdown. We regular FaceTime. Here's just a comment. For those who don't know, Australia's vaccine rollout is a shambles. Federal government has stuffed it up. It took me 500 plus phone calls to the booking line to get through and get an appointment in Melbourne lockdown 4.0. So to actually have the jab feels miraculous. And I'll tell you that my wife, she's trying to get her second shot, and they haven't sent out her message, and she can't get a hold of anybody, and the app, the MawProm app, doesn't work. She's just irritated, man. She's irritated. She can't get it to work. Thank you, Andrew. I'm doing as well as can be expected. If I really wanted to, I could be pissed off all the time about what's going on in the world. But, what can you do? This is the problem. This is why I don't like the word sheeple. A lot of times, what can you do? Okay, you can go out and protest. And if you're older, and I'm talking about you have a hard time moving out of the way. Now, I'm not really at that point yet because I can still move when I have to. I don't run willingly. I don't run from anything, willingly. Like if I'm out in a protest and there's cops, I don't want to run unless I absolutely have to. and I have here and in Hong Kong and elsewhere when I've been involved in little situations, skirmishes. Um, but if you're somebody who goes out and you're in one of these protests and you're not able to move out freely, who wants to risk getting, uh, taking a billy club to the back of the leg, or getting shot in the face with uh, a rubber bullet or something like that? Who wants to risk all that? I'm doing fine. Same every day. That's what I say. Anytime I go into Starbucks, oh, Scott, how are you doing today? Sabay ni mai? Muntukwan. I'm the same every day. Just, it's like this. It's like a little rocky boat. I'm on a rocky boat. Speaking of boats, I got to talk about a channel that my mother turned me on to. My mother turns me on to, she watches YouTube a lot more than me. Her and my father watch YouTube a lot more than I do. She turned me on to this channel. It's called, is it Alfred Montaner's? Montaner? Alfred Montaner? Let me see. I can never remember things. Yes, Alfred Montaner. Okay. I'm going to give a link to his channel just because I'll tell you why. Everybody knows that there are gators in Florida. This guy's in Florida. He's, I think he's in the Tampa area. It's Black Point Pier, that area. And he does, he fixes up boats and puts the ribs on the boat and that kind of thing. But the reason that his channel is interesting, first of all, he calls it the Chit Show. He's a Cuban guy. Not shit, but chit. And by this boat ramp, there's this boat ramp, and it's a pretty big, busy boat ramp. But there is a crocodile at the boat ramp, and it's freaking big. It's like a 12-foot croc. There's actually more than one. There's like a baby croc. But there is this crocodile. They call him Fred. Just look up Fred the crocodile. It's a 12-foot, it's about a 12-foot, from what I can see, 12-foot crocodile. And you got people, they're sitting in their boats. They're right on the edge of their boat. And the crocodile's right next to them, eyeing them. I mean, it's just crazy. And it's a crocodile. It's not an alligator. There is such a thing as an American crocodile, although they're very limited. My boys are doing good. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to go, but my wife has plans to take them somewhere tomorrow because Alex has school on a Saturday. But she wants to take them out somewhere. And I said, don't take them out. Just let them go with their friends somewhere because she doesn't want to go out with you. They don't want to really go out with you. They don't want to go out with us. Now they're too old. It's crazy, but, that's how they are now. They just want to be by themselves and be with their friends and hang out. And, being with the mother and father, it's like, oh, they're like old people. But we may all go and take them out to lunch or something like that. I don't know. Because they just haven't been able to go out all that much. And I know that Alex wants to go to the gym. There's a gym nearby that he goes to. And same with Nicholas. They want to start going back to the gym again. Alex hasn't been to the guitar studio in quite some time, and he misses it. He misses being able. There's a couple guys at school that he plays with sometimes. Yeah, I'm old, man. I mean, I'm not old when it comes to if you say, oh, he's 58. Well, that's not that old. Like, I'm not ready to die. If I was to die now, maybe there'd be people that said good, but maybe there'd be a lot of people that would say, oh, he's so young. He died before he should have. Maybe I got another 20 years, 25 years in me. Who knows? But when it comes to the difference between being 20 or 25 or 18 and 20, as is their case, and being, I'll be 59 next month. So they look at me as old. I mean, really, they look at me as an old man, and they look at my wife as old. So, 60 is the new 40. Yeah, I've heard that. I heard that 30 years ago. 30 years ago it was, 30 is the next is the new 20. Well, if I shave, I won't look so old. Which a shave is coming up soon because I feel like I got a Brillo pad on my face. Anyway, getting back to Thailand, which is what we're all here to talk about. This guy here, Prawit Wangsuwan, he is, how old is he? Of course he's old. He is 76, and he was the Minister of Defense from 2008 to 2011 and 2014 to 2019. He is now the Deputy Chairman of the National Council of Peace and Order, which sounds quite familiar to the national, whatever it is, peace and order in Myanmar. From 2004 to 2005, he was the Commander-in-Chief of the Royal Thai Army. He just looks like a kindly old man, but he's he'll do whatever he has to do. He is the architect of he's widely considered, as the architect of the 2014 coup d'etat, which failed. He's got a corruption scandal on his ledger. What is this? Oh, he's got undeclared watches. That's right. I forget. This is the guy. He's got 2 Richard Mille watches valued. The total for them. Wow, one of them is 2.5 million baht. The other is 2.8, which is, if you think about that, 2.8 million baht. What is that? How much is that? It's like $90,000, almost $90,000. He's got a Rolex, a Patek Philippe, an Audemars Piguet, a Rolex, a Patek Philippe, a Rolex, a Richard Mille, a Rolex, an Audemars Piguet. I don't know how to say that because I don't ever have to worry about getting any of these watches. I did a while back consider getting a Rolex. I had an Omega, the James Bond Omega. Hey, Dowlo, how you doing? I had that a long time ago. And as I've said many times, when I had this fall from the 4th floor during a fire from this place where I was living, I had it on my wrist. When I went down, it didn't smash, but it popped off my wrist, and somebody picked it up and took it. He's got 26 watches. Now, one of them is a G-Shock, which is 3,900 baht. It's a G-Shock BGA 150 KT-4B, which I don't know what that means. I talked to him, day before yesterday? He's doing all right, Same, he's in his little bubble, kind of like I am, and kind of like Billy. We're all in our bubble, and now we're gonna start breaking free. And actually, I'm thinking. I haven't talked to Jono about it yet, but maybe this coming week or next week we're gonna all meet up and just hang out. No stream or anything like that, but we'll just hang out and have a nice time. Yeah, I fell from the 4th floor. I was in a fire in an apartment / hotel. The apartments are on the upper floor, and the hotel rooms are on the bottom 2 or 3. And yeah, there was a fire, and I couldn't get down the hallway. I tried. Alex was a little baby at the time. My wife was pregnant, and I tried getting out, but there was too much smoke, and so I ran back. I went outside. All these people are outside crying. They're all screaming they're gonna die, and they're all freaking out. There's nobody there to help us. So somebody comes with a rope and gives me a rope. Gives us a rope. We tie the rope off. And the rope was so brittle that, nobody wanted to go. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go because I got a wife who's pregnant and I got my kid. So, being brave, I thought I was being brave. Now I think I was being stupid. I grabbed the rope and I start going down. And I was only, at the time, I was about, I had just had a fight in Muay Thai. It was the last time I had a fight in Muay Thai. And I was about 80, 82 kilos or something like that, which I still could have lost more weight and got down more, but I had just started training like 3-4 months before. And so I was healthy. I was fit. I didn't have, some of the problems that I have now. And it was just 20 years ago, 18 years ago, something like that. And the rope, I just hear this, and I was like, what the? And all of a sudden, boom, that was it. I fell. And I was on the 4th floor. I smacked into the 3rd floor because the rope kind of swung, and I hit it, and then, which is probably a good thing because it slowed me down. And then I went down right on the pavement like I did a Superman. And that was it. It knocked me out, cracked my head open. I didn't walk for about a year. I couldn't walk. So that was a pretty nasty fall. But anyway, the point is, that particular fall, that really aged me very quickly. I mean, it made me feel old. I mean, once I was awake, I was like, man, I don't feel the same. I feel something's wrong. That went on for a long time. I was battered. Yeah, I know. People tell me that. I know. And I actually I went in a stream a while back, and I showed where I fell from. It was about 40. It's 14 meters. So whatever that is, 45 feet up. I don't know how I lived, man. But I don't think I would live it. I would be able to survive it now. I would have. That would have been it for me. But when I woke up, I was in a coma for 4 days. When I woke up, I had a tube in my side because one of my ribs punctured my lung, and my lung collapsed. I had 4 fractured ribs, fractured skull in 2 places. The bones were sticking. I do remember this. The bones were sticking out of my fingers. And I went in. They took me into the emergency room. And my wife finally got down because what they did was they actually they got this old painter scaffold. And people had to be hung. People were holding them down, holding them by their arms. And then they dropped down onto this real rickety scaffolding. And then they dropped Alex. And there was like 10 people standing there with their arms open. So she found out where I was, and she came, and the bones were sticking out of my fingers. And I remember just being half, in and out of it. And the doctor, and I was telling the doctor, I need some pain medicine, man. This really hurts. I really am in a lot of pain. He goes, okay, hang on. And then they gave me the morphine, and I just kind of went, out of it. And then I just feel this guy cranking on my fingers. That's what it felt like. And I tried calling my parents. I mean, she was looking for the phone number. She couldn't find it. I was trying to tell her. She couldn't remember it. It wasn't in her phone, And I had to tell her the phone number, and I got it wrong like 5 times. I couldn't get the phone number right. I couldn't remember it. I was too out of it. And yeah, that was a hairy. I'm glad I got through that. But the thing is that when I was in there, this will give you a little idea. I had insurance up until like a month before, and I was looking for new insurance. Like an idiot, I let the insurance lapse until I thought to myself, I'm just gonna let it lapse. Nothing's gonna happen, and then I'll get this new insurance, which I did. A couple of months afterwards, after everything happened, I found a new insurance. So I didn't have insurance. So one of the people from the place that I fell from came in and said, oh, don't worry, everything's okay. We'll take care of everything. And once they saw the bill, there was like, oh no, we can't take care of everything. So I had to pay it all, which was, you know, considering how long I was in, which was about a month, it was $5,000. That's really cheap. So, anyway, enough about me. Before I forget, please don't. Please remember to leave a thumbs up if you'd be so kind. You got 71 people watching, and you got 31 and 16. That's 32 and 17. So that's 49 people out of 72. Now, some of those negatives, believe me, they'll drop off. They always do. It's so funny. I love to see that. The thumbs down, you know, there's a couple people that they have more than one account and they like leaving thumbs down. Not that there can't be anybody that doesn't like me or that can't leave a thumbs down, but that's what happens. For some reason, I don't know why it works that way, but I get a lot of thumbs down in the very beginning, and then some of them just drop off because YouTube probably considers them to be duplicates. I went condo diving, yeah, and you know what was funny is I went back, like once I was able to move around and walk around, I went back, and I looked on the ground, and there was like about this big, just, I mean, the size of a really big silver dollar of blood where my head had hit. And it was like, yeah, that's mine. All right, Carlos, you take it easy. Take it easy. We'll talk. We'll talk later. So, yeah, that's why, you know, now I always have insurance, but I want to get much more because I'm getting older. I want to really go from what I have now and like triple the amount of insurance. So, oh, believe me, if you saw it, and I've showed it again in streams. I don't know. I have to go back and show and figure it out where I streamed, when I streamed it. It's been a couple of years now, but I showed it, and it was, even when I look at it, I was like, holy shit, you know. And the thing is, they had no fire escape. The fire escape was locked, and nobody. It was like welded shut, so people could. And the reason was, my thinking was, they didn't want people running out on the bill, kind of like what happened in Pattaya. I don't remember if it was the Hilton or where it was, but there was one place that burned, and people died because they locked the end doors so that people could go down the fire escape, because they didn't want people running out on their bill. They didn't want people checking out and just going down the stairwell on the outside, taking their bags and then leaving. They didn't want that to happen, so they locked the doors. And then when, thank you very much, Peter, I appreciate it. You know, choke D to you. Yeah, I'm glad I survived too. Although at the time I was like, all I remember, you know what, one thing that was interesting was that I didn't remember anything in the beginning. It took me a couple of days, if not a week or so. Well, Richard, I was at the coffee shop the other day, and I'll be back maybe sometime next week. I don't know. I will be back. You know, but I don't want to go there every day, and I didn't have a reason to go today. I got great coffee here. In fact, the coffee here from Sarni's is far better. And even Longhorns the other day was going, man, compared to Sarni's, this coffee tastes like shit. You know. Holiday Inn open for breakfast, $2.99, semi-buffet, all you can eat. So I am. Thank you, Richard. Choke D, man. Choke D very much. Appreciate it. But what I remember is when I woke up, I had my hand and I had like, you know, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I had my wife take pictures. And I had the pictures for the longest time. I don't know what happened to them. They were shitty pictures because at the time, the phone was, you know, garbage. The cameras on the phone were garbage. But she took pictures, and then she took a picture of my back. And my entire back was purple and green and yellow just from the impact of the fall. And I didn't fall on my back. I fell on my chest or kind of on my side like this. Crazy. So, If you're going to live here, there's a reason why they want people to have insurance. You know, even with insurance. I mean, I know a guy who had insurance. He got into a bind, and it ended up costing like 4 or 5 million baht. He didn't have that kind of insurance, and he was screwed. I know another guy who, I talked about this German guy. Ran up a bill. He had a heart attack. Ran up an 800,000 baht bill at Waitangi Hospital. They didn't want to let him leave. And he was like, I need to go because I need to arrange to have the money transferred from Germany. I don't have the money here. And so they ended up having someone go with him because they were so scared he was going to run out on the bill. You know. Anyway, it was almost time for me to say goodbye then. I thought it was time for me to say goodbye. I thought, that's it, man. I woke up, I was like, what happened? You know. And my buddy Scott came and visited me. And he was like, holy shit. He couldn't believe it. I mean, I look like hell, man. You think I look like hell now? I look like, it was bad. You know, I mean, I couldn't walk. I had to go to the bathroom in the bed. I don't know how I went to the bathroom when I was when I was under. I was in a coma for like 3.5, 4 days. I was out. Didn't wake up. I don't think that I went number 2 for a week. I think it took me a week. Yeah, that's how I lost my hair, you bastard. I'm going to lose my hair today. I want to shave it off. I feel, I always say, I feel like I have a rug on my face. But really, I don't feel like I have a rug on my face. Right now, I feel like I have a Brillo pad on my face. No, I'm grouchy because it's my nature, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really grouchy. Once, listen. I'm not constantly thinking about what's going on with the prime minister or with what's happening in Afghanistan. But when I start looking at that stuff, I get irritated. When I start seeing Joe Biden try to talk, it irritates me. I'm like, how the hell did this guy ever become president of the United States? He paid his dues in politics. That's the thing. He worked his way up the ladder. For whether he deserved to go up the ladder or not. And to listen to, man, how do I get on this? To listen to Pelosi and him and what's that chick's name? AOC. Oh my God, I can't stand any of them. And part of me wants to go, I'm glad I'm not living in America now because of them. But the truth is, I'm glad I'm living in Thailand, even with any of the problems they have here. I think the problems here pale in comparison. So. But today is when the vote takes place. Let's see. I don't know at what time it was supposed to take place. I'm sure it'll be headline news once it does happen. Maybe it's going to be in the afternoon. I don't know. It doesn't say anything about it right now. I didn't put that guy's channel up. The guy with this guy's. What I was saying before earlier, and I already said, there's this crocodile. It's a 12-foot American crocodile, but this guy basically provides commentary. All these boats are coming into the dock. There's people fighting. I mean, getting into brawls. There's the crocodile that's walking around. It had some kid fall in. And the crocodile's, you can see him moving around. He's right behind the boat. It's just crazy. It's crazy. And he's funny. The guy's funny. So, he's a Cuban American, or whatever you want to call him. Luckily, there's Candace Owens to set them straight. Speaking of Candace Owens, Owens. Right now, this is what's the way I look at things in America. If somebody doesn't like your political affiliation, they decide, well, we're not going to get business. We're not going to do business with you. We're not going to give you the vaccination. We're not going to. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. And to me, I think that's a very good reason why you keep your political thoughts to yourself. Now, I don't know why I let mine out. I really don't give a shit if people like me or not because of my political affiliations. I don't care. I mean, because that's what I think freedom is about. If you want to be a Democrat, you want to vote independent, you want to vote Republican, that's up to you. It's none of my business. And that's what freedom's really about. Yeah, Cuban American like Pataya Bob. There you go. You know how Cuba is. I think some Americans need a good dose of reality of how lucky they are. Listen, I've been self-censored here in Thailand, which I won't get into again, but I've been forced to self-censor, and this is what they do, and this is what people do. These governments and people in charge, the heads of government and their cabinet members and the people that are involved with everything. This is what they do. They get people to self-censor or else. And obviously that happens here. And for the most part, how much does it bother people? The average person. The guy who's selling pad thai on the street or Guyang or something like that. How much does it really bother him that he's not allowed to talk about certain things? It doesn't. It's the same in China. It's only when it really affects you that you're going to, which is why this vaccine fiasco and the way that the virus and everything has been handled here related to it, that's why so many people are upset. Because it affects them. But when, if it's something else and it doesn't affect you, they go, yeah, that's really not good. And then that's it. My wife's like that. She, oh, yeah, well, what do you want me to do? She ain't going to go running around, protesting with a sign. She don't want to do that. Well, social media is monitored probably in every single country. Something else to consider is, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and all the other ones that are the opposite, Parler and Gab and all that. They tend. I don't know how they are, but obviously we know that Facebook favors certain groups, and if you say and do certain things, your tweets, your posts, they don't show up as readily, or they just don't show up at all. Well, originally they said October, and so no, they are not opening up freely in October. It's not going to happen. And like I said, yeah, okay, it can open in October, but there's going to be a lot of restrictions that make it prohibitive. Most people in Asia have better things to do than protest, like trying to get food on the table. Exactly. Most people aren't worried about it. All they want to do is eat. They want to, to me, this is how things work. Most people, they just want to have a decent roof over their head. They want to have decent food. They want their kids to be safe and sound and healthy. They want to be safe and sound and healthy. If they're married or whatever, they just want to come home, have time with the family, do their thing with the old lady, have their fun with the old lady, have their fun with the kids, and watch movies and stuff like that. I mean, that's, to me, that's about how every family is. Now you got people who one of the parents works more than the other and they're never home, or it's very difficult for the family to get together. We have that problem once in a while, but for the most part, no, we're fine. But that's the point. There are other things to deal with than worrying about he said, she said, or it said, or what gender is this? What all that kind of stuff is. It comes way down the ladder. It's not important unless it's specific to you. I'm sure Chuck can talk about that. You know, he doesn't make it extremely important. The fact that he's a gay white male, he doesn't let that phase him or let politics get to him, unless perhaps it directly affected him. Then he might speak out, but I don't think so. For the most part, he just is like, I don't care what anybody thinks. And I think way too many people care because of social media. They care about what's going on social media. How am I perceived? What did so-and-so think about it? Think about how many celebrities let their kid go out. Their kid's like 9, 10 years old. It's a little girl. She's a little girl and she's out in a little bikini. They put a little cute bikini on the kid and let the kid go swimming, and then she's bashed because oh my God, I can't believe you're dressing her like that. It's too provocative. Stupid shit. It's like, get a life. Worry about your damn self. Anyway, I digress. We were talking about Thailand and whether or not Prayut's going away. I don't see it happening for another year and a half or so. I don't think he's going to go away. Stranger things have happened, but I just don't see it happening. I don't see that the protests are gonna phase him. They had their chance with this vote of no confidence, and if this doesn't work, then people are just gonna have to wait. That's my opinion. That's what, if I was to look at the odds on that, I don't know. Maybe the odds makers have a different opinion. Let's see here. Well, it could be a little boy, like a kid's out in a little pair of swim trunks. He doesn't have a shirt on, and people are like, "Oh, you can't dress him that way." It's like, shut up. Or I don't know, a kid is 13 years old and she grabs mommy's lipstick and puts lipstick on and people are freaking out because it's a celebrity, and oh my God, they let the kid have the lipstick. Stupid shit, man. Yeah, I do believe he has an expiration date. But what is that going to mean for you guys who are outside of Thailand? Gennaro, I think you said you want to come over here in 2023 or something like that. You'll still be able to come. It may not be exactly what it was before, but I was thinking about something. There is no new normal. There's no new normal. There is no old normal. It's just now. We are living in the present. Anything, oh, that was in the past, this is in the future, this is normal, this is not normal. That's your perception. Normal and abnormal or old normal, new normal, that's just a perception. The reality is you're living in the now. Right now in the world, it's a pain in the ass to travel. You can't get around it. But there is no new normal. I hate that word, those words, new normal. I hate that phrase. When's it going to go like it used to be? Well, usually, if it's January 1st, 2021, things change from January to, say, March. There are changes that occur all the time, whether they're slow or rapid. There's always changes going on. So really, I was thinking about it, there really is no new normal. It's just what's happening at the moment. Well, I think the new leader, that may spark a change. A new leader could go many different ways. One of the ways is they just stay the same. The other is they decide that they really need to start being much more accommodating to foreigners and things get better for foreigners, whether it's expats or tourists, or things can get a lot worse. And I believe it was Malaysia. Was it Malaysia? Malaysia just changed their rules for retirees, and something to the effect of like they want them to have like 10 times more money in the past, and they did not grandfather those people that were already in the country. So, in other words, there are people in this country who they put 200,000 baht in the bank. They just left it. This is back many years ago. They put 200,000 baht in the bank. They qualified for retirement. Now, back in the day, that might have been $9,000 or $8,500, $8,300, something like that. From that point on, as long as they did not let their retirement visa lapse or their stay of extension lapse, they always showed 200,000 baht. Even now, they're showing 200,000 baht. So, you know, that's why Thailand is a good place for expats in that regard, because they don't say, sorry, it doesn't matter who you are, from now on, you're going to have to show this amount. You're going to have to show 1,000,000 baht. Now, if they were to do that, all the people that had 200,000, that might make their life a lot more difficult because they tend to be very old. And, you know, maybe they don't have the money. Maybe they don't want to show it. There's a lot of people, they don't want to put the money, that much money into a Thai bank account. Everyone hates the farang until the money, what? No, it's the other way around. Everyone loves the farang until the money dries up. A lot of Russians and Indians that want to come to Thailand, so I think Pattaya will open in November. It may open before then. Who knows? They're already opening up, you know, somewhat. It's a matter of when are they going to open up. I was saying what's really going to change things here is when they open up the bars and the go-go's. And then what you're going to get is you're going to get that different set of tourists coming in. And that's how it's going to work. Well, think about it. I think you meant to say everyone loves the foreigner until the money dries up. You know, and there's a saying with working girls. And also with Thais in general, the Thai government, which is they want your money, but they don't want you. They could do without you, but they damn sure want your money. And, you know, that's why the whole thing with the women, with the girlfriend experience was such a nice thing back in the day. Because they full on treated you like you were their boyfriend. And, okay, you threw them a few bucks, but it was great, you know. Well, listen, while the paperwork is difficult now and it makes things problematic, that doesn't mean that people won't come. People will come. But there has to be a value to coming. I mean, even in Phuket, the value largely in Phuket was that a lot of people like an expat could come in and they could just quarantine on the island. They don't have to sit inside of a little hotel room. They get to go out and do what they want. You know, the one main thing that I think is going to be a turnoff for people is the insurance and any certificate that needs to be provided or some test, all the tests. Get rid of the tests. Maybe you have one test. And you know what? You make it free. Because it doesn't cost them all that much. Include it. You know, maybe, listen, make the airlines add in $5 for their tickets, $10 for the tickets for an antigen test. So you come in, you've already been vaccinated, you come in, you test positive, you're going to need a quarantine. You test negative, go about your business. That's it. Eventually that's going to happen. And eventually those guidelines will be lifted. And they will diminish. Slowly but surely, they will diminish. It's a matter of steps, though, as I've been saying. And really, the politics are important uh, because it's, as I've said many times, it's about perception. The perception is uh, things here are a clusterfuck between the protests, the Thai government, some of the things that have been said, the way they've handled the vaccination rollout. But now it's starting to pick up. You're starting to see some positivity, and it's very easy to get sucked into all the negative aspects of what's going on here. And I mean, I'll be the first to admit I fall into it too. I see it and I'm just like, one thing after another. Can't these sons of bitches get anything right? But the truth is they do. Sometimes they get it right, and often they get it right more often than wrong. Sometimes it takes a little time, and it takes you to open your eyes up and say, hey, things ain't that bad. Once you go to the south of the Thai border, go south of the Thai border, white people are generally more well regarded. I don't think that the average Thai doesn't think of foreigners with high regard. I think that some of the foreigners here have very little class, or they're here strictly because they want to hang out and be a sex tourist, and they just want to hang out at the bars and stuff. And for the average Thai doesn't go to go-go bars and sit there all day with his girlfriend. That kind of stuff doesn't happen. But if you've got, listen, I used to deal with people in certain social circles here, and yeah, it was a bit of a, I had to wear a suit and stuff like that, and present myself with a bit of class. I had to carry myself a certain way, and I did most of the time. Once in a while, there's some times where I got a little bit irritated, but all in all, if you're running around in circles, if you're running around in certain circles, what I mean, like, if you're hanging out in the gnarliest, nastiest bars in Pattaya, and then you go from that to hanging out with people in, the Thais that are HISO, which most people never run into them because they don't want nothing to do with you. It's a huge contrast. One Thai to another is very different. There are certain women that you think about it, and this is like how it is in other places as well. There are certain women who you can get away with talking a certain way with them, and you can get away with it. And there are certain women that you wouldn't dare talk like that because you know that the way that they're going to react is not favorable. The police allegedly murdering. You know that the guy had 6 bags on his head. 6 bags. Now, I don't know how that is accidental. Again, I don't get it. It's beyond me. I don't really know. I don't know, but I have a girlfriend and many Thai friends, and I've always been treated well and made to feel welcome. Then again, I'm clean and presentable. Well, that's about all it takes. Be clean, presentable. Listen, I mean, I meet my wife's friends sometimes, and I would never, I would never speak the way that I might speak to some of my my Western friends, my American friends or British friends. I would never speak to them that way because it's a different culture, a different relationship, a different way of speaking with them. I would never go and look like shit. Like when I go to the mall, I don't care. I'm wearing a t-shirt and a pair of ratty ass shorts, flip-flops. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I believe it's 90% plus. Oh, let's see. I'll tell you right now. Well, this one doesn't tell me in Bangkok. Oh, now it's saying that Thailand will be vaccinated in 120 days or January 1st of 2022. which means that it's slowed down a little bit. The number of daily doses is down for the last 7 days by 17,000, which is a couple thousand a day. Yeah, I don't see the one for Bangkok, but it says that the completed vaccinations is 12.43%. But as of a couple of days ago, it was something in Bangkok. It was like 90% have had one shot already. I don't know what it was for the fully vaccinated, though. Let's see here. Is this going to give me the information I want here? Well, this is from 4 days ago. Let's see what it says here. Yeah, it just doesn't say anything about Bangkok. Bangkok was allocated a third of Thailand's vaccine supply when the country's mass rollout began in June, despite having only a tenth of the population. Okay. A concerted vaccination push in Bangkok now means 97% of senior citizens that there have had at least one dose, higher than the 90% of the city's total population, with 7% of the elderly fully vaccinated. So 90%, and this is as of 4 days ago, which is what I thought. But anyway, listen, we're at 90 minutes here. We're at an hour and a half, so that means it's the end of another live stream. I may live stream on Monday. I'm not sure. I will be live streaming next week from various places, as I said. So make sure to join me. If you wouldn't mind, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe. Remember to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Longhorns is going back to, well, he's going back to sleep. I'm sure he's laying in bed right now. But some of the places that are possible, Talat Noi, Chinatown, there's a couple of these kind of cool little trendy coffee shops / acai places where they got the fruit bowls and that kind of thing. There's also a very old restaurant, and very old, I think it's something like 115 years old. And then there's also the old house in Talat Noi, and another place that I believe Longhorns and I will be going to, which means it will facilitate. It will facilitate a. We're gonna use a canal boat to get to this place, I believe, which might be kind of cool because it's in a very cool neighborhood. So make sure to join me next week. I appreciate it. Thumbs up. Remember to join the channel if you can. Get a t-shirt. Right now until September 7th, you can use the code SUNSET and get 10% off of all the goods in my shop. The link's down below. The link for everything is down below. Become a Patreon patron. I never push Patreon anymore. Get one of my books. Use the Cash App, cryptocurrency, whatever you want to do. There's always ways to help out. Or just keep watching. That's fine. And thank you very much. Another day. Another stream in the books. So until next time, I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok. Choke D, Leo, Jerk, and my. That's good luck and see you later. All right? Take care.